Chef, can you tell us what was, or you remember, what was your first dish you have cooked at home?
First dish at
I'm curious to know when you invite people at home, your family, friends, all this. So, what generally you cook for them?
the first thing my family, it is not the guest choice, my family's choice.
Chef, I would like to know that was there any kind of chef competition which helped you in honing your skills as a chef within this course?
Kitchen has always been my good subject, lot to wear the uniforms.
Any incident which is very memorable to you and you would like to share with us to bring some?
A near accident, suddenly I get a call in the morning. Chef, आज तो अभी तक 11 बज गया, कोई no one was there.
Hi, this podcast is brought to you by Hospitality Navigator in association with Social Post Digital Media. My dear friends, we titled is The Chef's Talk. Here we will bring all the achievers, the chefs who has proven their iron in the industry, and in every podcast you will meet one of these prodigies here, where you will learn everything about this industry. There are many myths, there are challenges, how to deal with them and how to enjoy this industry at its best. For whom this podcast is for everyone who is a part of tourism industry. Sometimes it is known as hotel industry, people who are owner of restaurants, cafes and eateries, people of course who are the diners, who love food. And in every podcast, there will be a wonderful chef. Like today we have Chef Vikram Simha. And I would like to try my best to introduce Chef Vikram. Hello, Chef Vikram.
Hi Dinesh.
Yeah.
Lovely to be here with you.
Thank you. So let me start today's discussion by asking Chef, how did this aromatic flavorful journey begins with you? Where was the seed hidden? Please tell us.
Thank you, Dinesh. Lovely to be with you here on this fantastic morning.
Thank you.
And since I've known you for such a long, and we was always waiting to get an opportunity to speak, because when we speak, it is a limited audience. Now I think we will reach a lot more people.
Yes.
Dinesh, I come from a family which is never into this. Into this business, food cooking or none of the hotel business, and most of our parents or who they were into government services, and unfortunately, we had a little large family when I was in. I was not from Hyderabad because we were from a smaller town. We had a large family, and my father was away mostly on tours. I used to help my mother most of the times in getting vegetables, groceries, and everything. And she was very busy cooking, and whatever needs to be cooked, we discussed lunch over breakfast and dinner over lunch. So it was always running in the family or on the tables, and we had a lot of people at home always, not to entertain, but they were part of the family. They used to stay because my father was the eldest. So I virtually used to decide what my mother has to cook, because I used to get the vegetables DIYs. I used to tell them, you cook this first, you cook this later. Third day, because refrigeration was also limited. So whatever vegetables had to be cooked on a series, I used to virtually plan the menus at home for my mother. So though I was not involved much into the cooking, but I used to organize her kitchen with her help. So that's my first experience. And whenever my dad was away or my mother was away, I used to make some small things for my family, my father, my brother, my siblings.
Great, Chef. Chef, can you tell us what was, or you remember, what was your first dish you have cooked at home?
First dish at home, I vividly remember my mother and my parents were out for a tour, and we had to attend school, and my grandparents were there at home. My grandfather was a lovely cook. Fortunately, all the males in our family, except for my father, of course, were excellent cooks. All my chachas and my grandfathers, they were excellent cooks, because they had large families and they had to support their wives. And since it was a service background. So whenever they were out, I used to, my mother used to make a fill pot of dosa batter or idli batter or chapati dough and keep it in the fridge and go. And my job was to get up in the morning to make some dosas and some chutneys and serve it on a plate. So I used to do it for my father, my grandfathers, my grandparents, and my siblings. That was my job. So that's how I started enjoying.
So it was when even you were not having thought of becoming chef and all, it was just
No,
part
I
of-
was in school.
just
I think,
when you were
yeah,
in
just
school,
about
right?
middle school to high school.
So
That
I
was the
rightly
time.
framed the question that seed was hidden there, right?
Yeah,
Great.
I used to go to the market every week because we didn't have it was just a small town in a district. So we didn't have a regular vegetable market. We had a fair.
Okay.
So we used to go to the fair and buy vegetables once a week. That's on a Sunday, including non-veg. So we used to buy country chicken. We used to buy some fish. So I used to get them home. That was my job.
So that gave you foundation of identification of
Identification,
ingredients
yes.
and quality and
What
all
what
that.
vegetables to buy when,
Yeah, right, great. Yes.
and which are vegetables in season, which come at a better price, which will hold well in the fridge, which can be used after a week. All those things I learned when I was there.
I'm curious to know when you invite people at home, your family, friends, all this. So what generally you cook for them? Accordingly, I'll plan my visit.
No, after joining the profession and being in Hyderabad for such a long time, the first thing that comes to my mind is biryani. And whenever I have guests at home, and the first thing my family, it is not the guest choice, my family's choice is to, yeah, Dad, make biryani. You make biryani, the rest I think mom will manage, or you help them little snacks, that's it. So I have all the utensils to make a fantastic biryani from almost 15 years or so. I keep them. A nice stove with a low flame and a good
Great.
pot. So I make biryani, I
Lagan
make
and
some.
all that
Yeah,
setup you
lagan,
have, yes.
everything. I buy the best rice. I go to my mutton shop guy and I tell him I'm making biryani, give me the right cut. So that's that's what I do.
Yes.
My children
And
love it.
Hyderabad means biryani, and if you are into this profession, everyone expects that.
Yeah.
So that's great. It's wonderful. So Chef, really great. So let me also mention that Chef Vikram Simha graduated from IHM Hyderabad. I believe student life is a very special for everyone. For me also it was amazing. Chef, could you share some of those crazy interesting stories from your student life and tell us what your thought process was as a student chef?
Yeah, interesting, Dinesh. My joining hotel management is not by choice, but I would say it mostly like a chance. We had come from a small town to Hyderabad, and after doing our college, intermediate college, or
Our generation
senior,
came by accident. Most of the people, what I know, including me.
yeah. Someone who didn't get into mainstream engineering or medical, or didn't want to do graduation, want to do something special, they would
something
land
different.
up something different. They would land up doing a hotel management course,
management, yes.
but eventually everybody loved it.
But yes, yeah, I've been here in 25 years. Still, I enjoy this industry. It teaches you, it gives you lifestyle, everything.
So
Yes, chef.
there was a friend of mine. He was also doing his engineering. Wanted to write. I was trying for my medicals. I was just about to write, and I knew that it's difficult for me because there were limited seats in those times. I'm talking about 89. He said, "Why don't you do hotel management?" I said, "I don't know." He said he filled my application. We pushed it, and the exam date came. The hall ticket also had come. And incidentally, my dad was at home in Hyderabad because he used to stay far away. So I was sitting at home on a Sunday, and my father said, "You have an entrance today for hotel management." I said, "Yes." "So why are you not getting ready and going?" I said, "No, I'll miss Mahabharat." He said, "What's wrong?" I said, "No, I want to watch Mahabharat because that was the in thing at home."
true.
He said, "I'll record it for you. You go and write an exam."
Oh, great.
So I went with my friend and I wrote the exam and I got selected. Unfortunately, that boy also didn't get selected. He did his engineering again.
Oh.
So that was my chance entry. And then, of course, I joined IHM after that.
Great. I would like to know what happened in IHM, those 3 years. How were those? What you did? How was your experience? Kuch chatpati cheeze, right? Definitely it must be there something.
Yeah. I joined hotel management not knowing what the course has to offer. But the moment I joined, I said it's more of practical and sufficient academics. I won't say too much of academics, as you understand. And practical training skill was involved, so I realized it. After the first year, I was still dabbling whether I should continue hotel management or go and give it another shot for medical seat, because my parents were expecting me to do something like that. So then
Some kind of society and relative pressure that
yeah,
happens,
in those time, in
because,
those days,
yeah,
hotel
people,
management wasn't really sought after, or
course,
didn't
yes.
have on a social status. It was not on a very high ladder pedestal. Then I stood first in my first year.
Great, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Though I stood first in my first year, then I got a little confidence. Then I told my parents, and this is what I want to be. Now, don't trouble me with anything else. Let me focus. That was my first chance of staying back in college. And second year also, I was doing very well. And I went and I interned in a hotel when the hotel itself was going through an labor crisis.
Okay.
And actually there was no employee in the hotel, and we were a few trainees, interns working in the hotel. We had to do everything, and almost 20 hours a day we used to work in 3 or 2 departments. So though it was hard, but we enjoyed.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
And enjoyed. And despite all that, I stood first in my second year. That's when my principal started recognizing me. She didn't know who I was. My name was Vikram, but she didn't even know who I looked like. Then the second day she said, yeah, there was a small incident in the college. Of course, the college life, somebody beat up someone, and my name was also dragged into it. So eventually I had to land up in the principal's room. And while she was calling out names, and she called out my name, and she said, oh, you are Vikram, I didn't see you. You stood first, right? I was in 2 years, first and second year. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, you shouldn't be here. I said, yeah, I'm a student. I'm equally notorious or mischievous. And then that's how I got due recognition. And they said, no, you'll do well, much better. Great. Stay away from all this.
Okay, nice.
So that was the turning point.
Chef, I would like to know that was there any kind of chef competition which helped you in honing your skills as a chef within this course?
Yeah, like hotel management has 4 main streams, and kitchen is one among them. Kitchen has always been my good subject, lot to wear the uniforms and, go and there was too much of physical work, lifting, cutting, peeling, scratching, all those things. Yes, then one of my lecturers, she found a little talent in me after in my second year. He said, why don't you go for some competitions in the college? You're doing decently well in academics. You brush up a little of your kitchen skills and you will do well. The first competition was an inter-college competition that happened in Mumbai. It was among all the 17 national level colleges. And our team stood first.
Nice,
then came the chef's competition. The chef competition was it was primarily only for the chefs. So we went there, again we stood first. Me and my 2 other colleagues, they're still in the industry. Wonderful. We stood first, and that was the turning point for us. Because Hyderabad, was a little small city compared to Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and Calcutta. Our institute was small. Not many groups used to come, and if you had to seek jobs, we had to go to other cities and attend interviews, like especially Chennai, Bangalore, Bombay. And there was no much of campus recruitment in Hyderabad. But winning these 2 competitions got in a lot of attention in the industry. That yes, Hyderabad is known for good chefs and they're winning competitions. Why only limit ourselves between these 4 metros? So they came, they recruited us, and we got into very good junior management positions.
Okay. At this point of time, because you must have seen changes, now you are dealing with the new student, new generation on day-to-day basis. So what is the difference you found, and what kind of message you want to give it to this new generation, that how they should prepare for the industry?
Yeah, I would rather tell only from a chef's perspective, or I would narrate my incidents in a chef's perspective.
Of course, yes.
Not to the whole industry. One must have patience. He must have passion. Both are very important. Passion, most of them have. A lot of them have passions. Patience is something which you don't have. You must have patience. It takes to become a good chef, to pick up skills, to pick up management, to manage people, to even know the ingredients and make good menus, have a good practice. A lot of things. It takes nothing less than 10 years.
Means they have to immerse themselves into the trade.
10 years is something which they will have to, someone passing out hotel management will be roughly around 20 years or so.
Yeah.
So 10 years, first 10 years, just focus on picking up skills. Don't jump too many jobs. And pick up your skills. Get into a good place first, even if it pays you less. Get into a good restaurant, get into a good hotel first. Don't go to a small places. Not that they're bad, but it's just that when you need to train under good mentors, you must have a good ustad, or you
Quality
must have
matters. The standard matters.
yes, you must train under a good ustad or a good chef.
Yes.
He will guide you well, and that's where you pick up your skills. First 10 years you don't see too much of money, but post that you will see a lot of money. Your friends who are in software industry, who are in other industries will start rivaling you. Otherwise, the first 10 years, don't compare yourself with anyone else. You'll be getting not peanuts, but you'll not make sufficient money.
Yeah, of course. So I generally term it as a chef commando, and you can only become chef commando when you have these two things, as a chef mentioned, the passion with patience. So remember this, and people who are preparing for, to be part of this industry, be ready for that, and all the best to you people. So now after college life, the real game of life starts. That is a professional life, and we face many challenges, a whirlpool of challenges rather, during this life. I would like to ask you, chef, please tell us how you started your professional life and what kind of challenges you have faced and what have shaped you into this wonderful chef personality.
Yeah, I'm basically an Indian chef. I know after 30 years, I still hold my skill as an Indian chef rather than calling another name or something. Okay, I passed out in 92, and fortunately, I got placed in a very good hotel chain, ITC Hotels. At that time, they were the only restaurant chain which had branded Indian restaurants. By the name of Dampug, Bukhara, Peshawari, Dakshin. So they had
Very popular with delicious food.
Yeah,
They are my
they were,
favorites.
and we had to go through, after selection, we had to go through 2 years of extended training, which they called it as a management training program. So this is apart from the first 3 years of college. It was 2 years training, and we had to go through a lot of grind. We had to attend classroom sessions in the morning time, then do a regular shift of 8 to 10 hours post that. So almost 18 hours of work, whether it is study or professional work, we had to do. And it was a very well structured program, and we had to attend sessions at Management Development Institute at Gurgaon. Then I sat through with multiple exams through Royal Institute of Public Health and Hygiene. I passed it honors and in London.
Great.
Then we had to go through on multiple training programs, especially people management, which is very less taught in colleges even today.
It looks like wholesome program.
Yes,
Which
yes.
addresses all your mental, emotional, and physical training, right?
Yes. Because we were, and eventually, after this 2 years of management training program, I had a mentor called Chef Manjeet Singh Gill.
Great
He was a
chef,
corporate
yes.
chef, yeah, fantastic chef. And he told me, Vikram, you will go and join an Indian kitchen, and that too Bukhara. Which was, I being a South Indian, I went to Delhi and first time ate, paneer and roti together.
Specializing in North Indian
Especially
food.
in Bukhara was in one of the world's best restaurant. He said, you specialize in your, I said, 2 years, what is that? He said, this is super specialization. So you need to sharpen it further because we're going to open more restaurants with you. In that era, and talking about 30 years back, most of the chefs, cooks, I would say cooks, have come up the level. and they would operate kitchens that, at the most. They never understood costing, they never understood cleanliness, management, meeting customers, upgrading, changing menus. They were good at whatever they were doing. And the restaurant was built on their shoulders. But someone had to take it ahead,
Yes.
multiple locations. So I trained in Bukhara and had a tough time. And I was being called by so many names. One among them was a Madrasi, because I was a little dark-skinned and, and I could barely
Generally,
understand.
North Indian think that South India is all about Madras.
Yeah, and we had tough time explaining to them, Hyderabad is different and we are not Madrasis. But since we all spoke the same lingo,
Yes.
they would term it that. Yeah, and they were a little reserved, the whole team of 25 chefs, to let me in into their team. I had to work my way up. So they never used to allow to make rotis in the tandoor in front of the customer, served it. I went to the cafeteria and learned making rotis for 400 people. Perfect rounds.
Yes.
Absolute thickness, perfect thickness. I learned, and then I came back. I said, you're a chef here, why are you making staff rotis? I said, no, I must learn, no? Somewhere I have to practice, otherwise my own cooks will not let me in, my chef will not let me in. So I had learnt it. I used to remove charcoal from tandoors, I used to clean the ducts, I do all kinds of things.
It sounds similar to army training, no less than that.
Yeah, but it is self-imposed.
Yeah,
It's something nobody is going to drive you, because at that stage you want to do something. You need to have a good foothold, and
Then again, your passion come into picture.
yeah, you need to sharpen your skills. You need to get ready for what is coming ahead.
Yes.
So that's how I started, and my language started developing. My communication with them got better, so they started accepting me as a team.
So I think after ITC, you have joined one group called BJN, right?
Yeah,
So where-
ITC I worked for almost 11 years as a brand chef of
Long time,
Peshawari.
yes, great.
I'm always a firm believer which say that you need to work. I don't know if it works in today's state. It still works, of course,
Yes.
and a particular company, and grow from within.
Yeah, that really worked. That
I
royalty
joined
also.
as a junior management position and left them as a senior management position. At the time that post-liberalization in 2000, there was restaurant market was booming. In 2000, 2001, 2002, there were multiple specialty restaurants outside hotels, like how it happened in Europe and America.
True.
10 years, I got Young Chef of the Year FHRI award. I said, I must do something else now. And then I went and joined a restaurant chain. We just had 3 restaurants in Bangalore. And it was rapidly expanding. We did 30 odd restaurants in the span of another 4 years, 4 to 5
Yeah, I
years.
remember in Hyderabad you had 4 to 5 brands and all were lovely.
Yeah.
That's
We
when
worked
food
on the
was really
concept. That is where,
Yes.
and as long as I was there in ITC hotels, it was all about skill, quality of food, customer experience. That's it. The moment I came out from hotels, started working in restaurants, then I realized there's a lot more to restaurant, a kitchen or a restaurant than about cooking. You have to plan your kitchen, you have to get your staff in order, you have to worry about your costs, you need to, what the requirements of the organization. So I joined BJ.
All were different concepts, I remember.
All
Yes.
were a vertical.
All were very, all were serving very tasty and nice
Yes.
food.
They had very good branded restaurants, but different cuisines.
Different
So I learned my other cuisines also, whether it's Oriental. My strength always remained with Indian.
But Indian was
always
the
my
best.
strength.
Yeah, it was the
always
best.
my
I
strength.
remember very well.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I made sure wherever I worked, all my Indian restaurants were top notch.
They were, yes.
So that's it. I spent around 5 years with BJ.
Okay, then you joined another chain. And
Legendary company called Ori's in Hyderabad.
And there also you have added some
with lots of
brands
restaurants.
and all, yes.
New concepts started coming in. Apart from fine dining restaurants, new concepts started
So now
coming
this journey was like creating new concepts everywhere you go.
Yes, because the market dynamics itself was changing.
Yes.
And, I used to travel a lot. Every 3 months or 4 months, whichever company I'm working, I travel. I take a weeks off and go to a new city, study the food, understand the people, and get, if there is anything interesting there as a concept, I would organize the cooks, come over. Because as a chef, you can't get off the bed and think about a new dish.
Totally.
You need to see, you need to experience, you need to understand the taste profile, whether it suits in a city where you are, Then you start getting in the people or the skill set, and then you start putting on your menus and upgrading your menus. So that was always on my mind. Whenever you create something, it has to be different in the city.
So here we are addressing the people who are the professional in this industry. Any quick message to them that how they should, prepare themselves, be ready always, what they should do?
Yeah, one, if you're a professional chef, one is your sphere of operation. One, you should expand your sphere of operation, not only cooking food. You're looking into kitchen planning, how much, what to use, what kind of equipment, what is required as per to the menu. To the kind of people you're going to recruit, what is going to be the hierarchy? How are you going to manage them at a lesser cost? What is the skill set of people you're going to get on board? Three is the menu itself, which is the heart and the pulse of the restaurant. Great. What my menu is going to be? Is it going to be like a Bollywood blockbuster where you're going to have everything, all kinds of food? There is food for local people, non-local people. No, is it kind of a well-rounded multi-cuisine food, or you going to work on a very niche or a good quality food, or you going to work on a new concept totally? Obviously, there are perils and difficulties in each of this menu making, because that your menu defines the restaurant.
Yeah, of course.
So that's it. That's my thing. And third is, of course, getting to profitability, managing costs.
Of course, yes, that's a part of
cleanliness
business.
and hygiene.
So you mean to say that a professional should have a dynamic approach. He should be, one side should be explorer and another side like experimental.
Yes.
That will make him a good professional. So please take this and be a good professional, whosoever watching this. So far it's going great, and I think we all are learning a lot from you. I'm little more curious. I want to know any incident which is very memorable to you and you would like to share with us to bring some humor.
Yes. There's some incidents which are not defining, but there's something, a near accident, I would say.
But turned into a funny
not as funny, but it was a game changer. It was something that redefined the way I operate restaurants. So very early, when I came from hotels to restaurants, and there was a restaurant called Bombay Post, which was doing very well on Bangalore in Old Airport Road near Carlton Towers.
Very famous brand.
And I had collected each of the cooks, from different regions. Some came from Delhi, some came from Bombay, some guys came from Lucknow. We'd put together a fantastic menu, and the restaurant was doing exceptionally well. And there was a chef. I would not name him, but he was also a part of my team. And it was the talk of the town in Bangalore at that time. And I put in a lot of effort. That was because that was one of my first one or two restaurants after leaving hotels. So, competition, they would want a ready-made team because nobody wants to build a team. I think something must have happened, and they've approached my boys, and suddenly I get a call in the morning. The chef asked, one of my kitchen stewards or one of the junior cooks called me, "Chef, आज तो अभी तक 11 बज गया, कोई आया नहीं किचन में."
Oh my God.
मैं तो डर गया. We had bookings, and every day we used to do nothing less than 300, 350 covers. Only when I realized I went rushing from my bed. I was just about to go to office and do something. मैं kitchen में गया, कोई नहीं था. No one was there. My chef, his CDPs, his tandoor chef, सब गायब. तवा वाला, and it was a seafood specialty restaurant. सब गायब. I tried to reach them. Phones were not much at that time. तो एक हाथ फोन था, मैं फोन घुमाया, कोई आए नहीं ड्यूटी पे.
I can understand.
And I was on my knees. अभी 1 घंटे में रेस्टोरेंट खुलेगा, एक भी कुक नहीं है. Then somehow we gathered courage and I called some helps from other. तो रेस्टोरेंट तो चालू कर दिया. Somehow we managed for 2-3 days. Eventually, after a week or so, the boys started coming back because. So you give them an environment, you give them a platform, and they're doing very well. You go to a new place. Obviously, it doesn't suit. Maybe some unfulfilled promises were there. So the kids started coming back. But that 1 week, I realized, बस आप कितना भी बड़ा मांत्रिक है, आपका जान जो है ना छोटा चिड़िया में रहता है.
Right, that is.
So what I realized that no matter how big your restaurant is, or kitchen is, or how good your service team is, your moment of truth is in the commie and the lowest rung cook जो नमक डाल रहा खाने में, जो पानी डाल रहा टेबल पे, उसमें आपका जान है.
Yes, true. I agree to that. Yes.
बस आप जो आप
everyone is important.
कोई भी कितना बड़ी तामझाम कर लो, रेस्टोरेंट में बड़ा बड़ा शोशा लगाओ, फी लगाओ, ये लगाओ, अगर ये लोग आपका कंट्रोल में नहीं है और यू आर नॉट वेल ट्रेन्ड इनफ, you are at a big risk. So that is something which I will never forget probably in this my lifetime, because such a fantastic restaurant, we somehow we gathered support, we got the customers back. But I was on my knees, and that was one tragic incident. And one more incident was being a chef, kitchen planning was not in detail. We never learned as a chef equipment, planning, layouts. वो अभी आजकल कर रहे लोग, बट उस टाइम पे कोई नहीं करता था. उस टाइम फैसिलिटी प्लानर्स होते थे, वो लोग होते थे. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 25 years बैक, 25 years बैक. वो लोग करते थे पूरे, हम लोग जाके सिर्फ खाना बनाते थे.
But generally chefs, they restrict themselves to that.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they thought they were meant to do.
Yes.
So I had gone a little ahead.
You've been different. I know you are a wonderful kitchen planner. And
so एक किचन फैसिलिटी प्लानर को लिया था हम लोगों ने. Very big guy. One of the best in India, the top guy in India. He used to design for all the government offices, parliaments, defense, big establishments. उसको जाके हमने hire किया to do multiple restaurants across the cities. And he was a very head fast guy. वो कुछ नहीं सुनता था मेरा कि मेरे को ऐसा चाहिए, because मेनू मैं बनाता, किचन वो बनाएगा. तो there was synergy. There was no synergy, and I didn't get the kitchen I wanted. So every time I used to go change, ऐसा नहीं, वैसा करो. One day he says, we agreed for 2 or 3 changes, and the 4th day he said, अब इतना ही changes करना है तो आप खुद नहीं कर सकते क्या? बोला, खुद नहीं करा सकते क्या? I took it as an assessment because I hired him. We were paying through our nose as a company for his services, and he turns back and tells me this. And I went and pleaded him to do this work for us. I felt a little offended. I went back. I said, this is something which I should not bear with for long. तो सोचा, चले यार, मैं ही क्यों नहीं कर सकता हूँ ये काम किसी से टीम बनवा के.
So it was as a course correction in your career.
It was a course correction, and then I had one.
You have taken it as a challenge.
I've taken it as a challenge. First I took it as an insult, then I took it as a challenge. Then I had my own team who used to plan my own kitchens at the convenience, at the speed I wanted. So we could execute far more restaurants, but much sooner and shorter budgets. And planner को दे दे तो वो अपना हिसाब से बनाता है. आपको overshoot हो जाता budget. You have to still answer to someone. So that was the 2 course corrections I had. I'm talking about the reasonably decent ones.
So I think they were like, a little tragic incidents which you really came up
and they applied this sense of insult turning into an opportunity is something which I continue to have.
Great.
कोई बोलता है तो इतना बड़ा शेफ है ये नहीं कर सकता क्या? अरे बात यार उसको बात को क्यों बुरा मानूं मैं? बात तो सही है.
You won't talk much, but you definitely show people that way I really know you. So Chef, well, like you have shared a lot about your professional journey, but parallelly we have our personal life, right? Our family, friends and all that, right? So I would like to know during this journey, what kind of support or what kind of challenges have been thrown by your family and friends, and how you have responded to them?
Like I said, my parents were not aware, but eventually they got to terms. And of course, like every chef has a trouble in those days to get married. लड़कियां नहीं मिलती थी बोलने के लिए और क्या काम करता है बावर्ची करता है and people used to say बर्तन धोता है and I used to go and waiting in tables and all. But my wife, she was from software. And
now they must be very happy that everyone is eating very tasty food.
Yeah. She was very, and I told her, see, I work long hours. Don't expect me home at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the evening. I'll sleep at odd hours. I'll come at odd hours. The raising family is yours, and she has been very, very supportive. She is Sri Devi, very supportive, and of 2 kids. Of course, they're not into my professions, but very supportive. Food was something last on their mind because they always knew that I will manage. अगर मेरे लिए खाना भी नहीं बनाएगा तो मैं manage कर लूँगा. So, but otherwise, they used to take care of everything. Wonderful. But now that the profession has grown, there is awareness among other people. Now, I think they're more comfortable.
That's great. That is needed to be successful.
Yeah, and initial years, my team itself was a family in the kitchen. I used to be emotionally connected with every team member of mine. I used to know them, their families, and I thought that was the need of the hour, and is to keep the team cohesively, work to a common cause. And for them, organization didn't matter. For them, I mattered. I was around. अगर जो भी कुछ भी बात है शेफ को बताओ. So I was their HR, I was their whatever housekeeping, I was their anything they would come to me. I said, you first come to me. If I'm not able to solve it, I will take you to someone very good. So they were my second family. Yeah. The first few teams are still in touch with me. Then of course when I started growing, I have too many people to manage. Then I advocated the same to all my chefs. कि यार फैमिली एक तो घर पे रहता है, एक तो उनसे ज़्यादा इनकी शक्ल देखते हो तुम दिन में. You spend 12 hours with these people. You spend 4 hours at your home.
Right, true.
So
there was a positive energy flow always.
Yes,
and
yes.
That makes a big difference in anyone's life.
Yeah, because you want to keep your team flocked together.
Yeah.
Keep them motivated, irrespective of whether the organization takes care, doesn't take care. You need to keep them motivated.
No, I've seen you. You are a great mentor. With open heart, you guide people. Thanks. Even many times I take your help. It's always been a great experience. So let me read Chef Vikram Simha's philosophy, which has so nicely quoted, and it goes like this: great food is never just about recipes. It's about rhythm, emotions, and the craft of engineering each element into each element, so the story comes alive in every bite. Wonderfully said, Chef. And I also, remember one of my experiences during our joint venture. Your knowledge about spices. Trust me, I never met anyone who knows so much about each and every ingredient, and you have researched it so well. And I think how I should describe, I'm falling short. Like, you listen to all ingredients, and the way you blend everything, it's amazing. I would like you to just tell us how you do it, and what went behind it. How did you started it, and how was your experience about this?
See, being an Indian chef, Indian food is all about spices. The blend of spices from different regions, the blend of spices, the kind of spices which you get in different geographical areas. That's all about spices. But identifying which spice to use in what food, that's something that holds the key for the taste of the food. So I used to travel a lot. Yes. My job, because I had personal interest in traveling. Mm-hmm. And I never used to do blogging and all, but my personal interest, I used to go to a new city, taste new restaurants, and for my own personal experience, speak to good chefs or cooks, if possible, hire them and get them to the city, and introduce something very interesting in my current menus. Yeah. So I used to travel to all cities, all traditional, nostalgic food I used to taste. Then how to adapt it, take something from a small restaurant or a street and get it to a restaurant. Mm-hmm. And present it in a much better, presentable way, and get those cooks, get the exact taste, till the T, and prepare it. So I used to travel a lot. So in that course, what spices, I used to get those spices only. Mm-hmm. And क्यों इतना मान्य रखता है वो spices उसके लिए, आदमी के लिए? कोई बोलता है मेरे को इंदौर का धनिया चाहिए, कोई बोलता है मेरे को छोटी राई चाहिए, कोई बोलता है मेरे को बड़ी राई चाहिए, कोई बोलता है मेरे को गुड़ वो वाली चाहिए, जो काला वाला चाहिए, कोई इमली बोलता है काला चाहिए, कोई इमली बोलता है वाइट वाला चाहिए. And mirchi. For us, chili powder is a term, but for me, chili powder is the most atrocious spice. Yes, there is specific chili for specific purpose.
Specific things, yes.
Color के लिए आप चाहिए, flavor के लिए चाहिए, spice के लिए चाहिए. तो अलग अलग चिल्ली होता है. सो ये कुक्स के साथ काम इतना काम करते करते अंडरस्टूड स्पाइसेस में समझना अपना बहुत ज़रूरी है. यू कांट राइट ऑफ अ कुक. वो बोलते सर इधर मिर्ची अच्छा नहीं है. You can't write it off because this guy is blabbering to me. But because there is a purpose why he's telling me. I used to go and search in every detail. Sir, इधर का धनिया में ना पूरा धनिया पत्ता में धनिया खड़ा धनिया में स्मेल नहीं है, खुशबू नहीं आता हमारे यहाँ. Then realize that guy is referring to an इंदौरी धनिया or some kind of another spice from different region. गुड़ में ऐसा कोकम है, इमली है. Then I started researching. I used to go to Khariboli, which is the biggest wholesale spice market in India. मैं चेक करता था हर एक स्पाइस चिल्लीज. आई यूज्ड टू जस्ट लॉइटर अराउंड इन द मार्केट एंड कीप आस्किंग क्वेश्चंस. सो दैट्स हाउ इंटरेस्ट जनरेटेड इंटरेस्ट.
It's really wonderful.
Thank you.
And chef, how you take now, because things are changing every day, technology, and now every day we hear AI is taking over all this thing. How you take it in this industry? How we can use it, or is it a threat to us? So, what is your view?
Who is creating the technology, Dinesh? It is us. It is me.
Yeah.
I am creating the technology for the benefit of lot of people. See, जब हम शुरू में थे, like you must have heard lot of chefs talking, मैं इतना प्याज चिल्ला, इतना टमाटर पीसा, इतना वो किया, इतना क्या किया. For me today, for any chef who is going to tell me this, that means he's been ill utilized. मैं ऐसा सोचता हूँ कि उसका काम
at present time
he's been that guy's skill has been ill utilized.
Okay.
अब मेरे पास मशीन आ गया. I have people who can give me peeled onions. I can give people who can give me browned onions. मेरे चॉप वाला मिल जाता है. Why should I waste a young upcoming aspirational chef into doing those jobs? So मेरा क्या है? Then I started looking other way. How do I take my chefs and give them a good exposure without getting them into these menial jobs? उनको भी ग्रोथ चाहिए. Why do they leave you?
Yes, true.
So I started looking at technologies. I started looking at convenience foods. I started looking. अगर कोई चीज़ को 10 बार करे, 100 बार करे, अब एक दिन बोर हो ही जाएगा. अगर नहीं बोर हो रहा तो
and this is especially new generation which are
they don't have
they're very tech savvy.
They're tech savvy. They want to grow fast. They want to learn a lot of things in the shortest period of time.
True.
And we can't say that okay, these guys are not good enough. No, we have to work with them. Aspirationally you have to match them. तो उनके लिए कैसा करना है कि उनको कन्वीनियंस लेके आए. अगर हम लोग उस टाइम एक रोटी लगाने के लिए 4 साल लगता था मेरे को तंदूर पे खड़ा होने के लिए. अभी तो वो 2 महीने में 3 महीने में खड़ा होना चाहता है. या कोई करी बनाने के लिए, या उसको ज़्यादा दिन प्याज नहीं छीलना है, उसको ज़्यादा दिन ग्रेवी नहीं पीसना, उसको मेरे को रेंज पर खड़ा होकर खाना बनाना है. एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम आई हैव टू मीट हिज एस्पिरेशंस. सो I started getting involved in technology. कैसे कन्वीनियंस होता है, वेस्टेज किचन में वेस्टेज का प्रोसेस वेस्टेज कम होना, स्टोरेजेस किचन्स छोटे हो गए. पहले बड़े बड़े किचन्स होते थे, अब किचन छोटा हो गया. मैं प्याज नहीं रख सकता हूँ, टमाटर नहीं रख सकता हूँ. मैं क्या रख सकता हूँ? फिनिश प्रोडक्ट्स रख सकता हूँ अपना किचन में, क्योंकि जगह छोटा है. तो आई हैव टू वर्क. सी टुडे द डायनामिक्स ऑफ अ स्मॉल किचन एंड अ बिग रेस्टोरेंट्स आई स्टार्टेड कमिंग इन. आई डोंट हैव लग्जरी ऑफ स्पेस इन किचन्स नाउ. तो छोटी किचन्स में काम करना पड़ेगा. उस हिसाब से आइदर आई हैव टू use technology.
Automation should come into picture.
Automation, technology, convenience, plus aspirations of the chefs. ये सब करेगा तो then we have to change accordingly.
So at presently, on what you are working now? Convenience food or some other things?
See, I am working with one company in Chennai. I am working with an AI integrated cooking. So basically, you feed in the recipe. It takes the ingredients by itself. Few fresh ingredients you add, and it's like a robotic arm in a hot pan. अब कुछ भी बोलो नाम उसका. एक आर्म है, एक robotic मैकेनिज्म है. हॉट होता है, पानी गिरता है, तेल गिरता है, सब्जी गिरता है, साफ भी अपने आप होता है. उनके लिए रेसिपीज क्रिएट करना.
That is important. साफ अपने आप होता है.
साफ अपने आप. तो उस हिसाब से उनको वो मॉडल एक सेट करना है, वो एक काम कर रहा हूँ. दूसरा आजकल का द न्यूअर क्विकर ई कॉमर्स. आई नो पीपल वांट्स इंस्टा फूड. नो ऑफिस में जाओ तो पहले लंच टाइम होता था 1 घंटे का. जाओ लंच करो, 15 मिनट रेस्ट भी करके आओ. आज लंच टाइम होता है 15 मिनट 20 मिनट में. उस टाइम में उसको खा के निकलना है. ही हैज टू फिल हिज स्टमक रीजनेबली, नॉट टू पुट हिम टू स्लीप. उसके लिए मैं क्या करूँ? I have an unmet, there's a new demand that's coming. I have to meet those demands. So उसके लिए I know I get into quick made food, frozen foods, retort packs, या जो भी है, मॉडिफाइड एटमॉस्फेरिक प्रेशर, जो भी हम मैप टेक्नोलॉजी बोलते हैं, उस किस्म का खाना बनाए जिसका शेल्फ लाइफ भी अच्छा हो, प्रेजेंटेबल हो और जल्दी भी मिल जाए.
Great.
So these are the few areas which I'm working with different people. But at Kitchenomics, I'm creating brands for convenience, for B2B. ऐसा करते रहते हैं.
Anything else I missed and you would like to share with the audience?
Yeah,
Something?
what is in future for chefs?
Yeah.
One
that's
is क्या करना चाहिए अभी? No, a lot of people, chefs. There is an age barrier for chefs who are coming, you know. 30 साल तक तो वो खाना काम सीखते ही रहता है. 30 से लेके 30 to 45 he makes money, or till 50. What after that? He cannot stand long in the kitchen. वो भाग नहीं सकते. क्या करना चाहिए उस टाइम? No, he has to think, मैं innovate कैसे करूँ? How do I groom people? What is available in the market? Go and visit exhibitions. Go and meet people. See new technologies. Don't rubbish anything.
Right.
You don't know what might click. कोई डोसा बनाने का मशीन ला रहा है तो उसको इम्प्रूव करो, या कोई अप्रोच करता है कि मैं इंडक्शन में कुछ करना चाहता हूँ सर, उसके हेल्प करो. लुक एट योर सेल्फ एट एन enabler rather than become a associate.
So great, chef. Thank you very much. And I think one podcast is not enough to know the entire your life journey. There definitely much more.
The full
to share.
journey of cloud kitchens is not touched at all.
Yes, we have not touched that, and I think of course we will take it as a specialization podcast. So let me just conclude this what discussion we had with Chef Vikram Simha. So as a definitely you should have that natural desire to be or passionate about this profession to become a chef, and then every minute when you are living, you should be living with the consciousness that you are doing something related to the profession. You have to train yourself well. When you are joining some course, you should do it justice with that, learn a lot of things and be the explorer. Find new horizons where you can get to know new knowledge about that. Be tech savvy and learn as much you can, and definitely be patient, and so it may shape up you like Chef Vikram Simha. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Chef Vikram, for sharing your life journey, career journey with us. And I think we all will benefit with this. Thank you, Chef.
Lovely interacting with you, Dinesh, and it's been a very nice talk. And knowing you as a human being is more important, because you run a fantastic company called Hospitality Navigator, and I know that we have done some work together, a couple of projects, and you are also into consulting, you are also into training people. You are a multifaceted person.
Thank you, Chef.
And hope you grow and do well, and we can work on more projects in future.
Yes, we will.
Yeah? Multifaceted approach from your end.
Yes.
Yeah? Nice.
Always been pleasure working with you. Thank you, Chef. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience. Thank you.